good.
Okay. Go, Tom.
Yeah, it's on there.
All right, well, welcome everybody to tonight's council meeting. We'll commence here. It's at 7:05 PM. Our meeting will start. And first item on the agenda is the agenda. So I've got moved by Councillor Wright, seconded by Councillor Hardesty, that council adopt the agenda of regular meeting RM05-2023. And I'd like to say amended because I'd like to add one delegate as, yeah.
He's not going to come out.
Okay, that's council then. Anybody else have any amendments or deletions, changes? Okay. Well then, as presented, is everybody in favor of adopting the agenda?
Yeah.
Okay, 4 in favor, none against. Motion's carried. Any declarations of interest to declare? Any of the councillors? No, and none myself. Councillor absences, we do have a motion here moved by Councillor Wright, seconded by Councillor Hardesty, that council excuse Councillors Hassan, Hardesty Gillis, Deputy Mayor Tetso, and I can't speak for one other councillor, Belfontaine, because he didn't indicate to me, or did he?
Aren't they having the DEA meeting at the same time?
Tonight?
Yeah.
Could be, I guess we could give him the benefit of the doubt and say, Belfontaine.
There's something happening over at the rec center, is that the retail?
Quick check.
Oh.
Well, maybe with.
Which I'd rather be at.
Yeah, I don't know, it must be something that came up, I guess. Well, we'll put their 4 names. So we would excuse the 4 councillors and, well, 3 councillors and the deputy mayor from the regular meeting RM05-2023. Any discussion on that? Everybody in favor of that? All right, all those in favor? 4 in favor, none against, motion's carried. And we have a delegation this evening. Sergeant John Cormier is here. I see you brought another member to introduce to us, I think. And maybe to speak a little bit on his policing report and good work that was done in the last year.
Actually, Mayor Pierre's going to do it there, so.
Yeah.
All right, this is Mayor Pierre Large, he's our newest member here in Fort Simpson. If you want to just introduce yourself, just say who you are and where you come from. And
Yeah, I'm Marie Pierre, I'm from Quebec. And I was a physics teacher before, I'm trying to course. So yeah, and I'm here for 2 months. Yeah. So yeah, I don't have too much to say about me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's being field coached by Brent. I think we all know Brent there, so yeah, so she's doing well so far. Yeah, so very well involved in the community in 2 months in, so she's already well involved.
Yeah, I play hockey with men too.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's great, welcome. Welcome
Thank
to the
you.
community.
All right, just to go over some of the mayor's report briefly. For those who don't know me, I'm John Cormier, I'm the sergeant here for the Fort Simpson RCMP. I'm just going to go over the report briefly in regards to what we've done in the last month. We were tad busy. So we had 130 calls for service for the month of February. We still have the same priorities for the calendar for the fiscal year. For the community policing with crime prevention, we did some traffic enforcement. We didn't do any check stop for obvious reasons that I'll mention afterwards. We got busy in other aspects of our priorities this month. We had 4 reports of impaired drivers for the traffic initiative, resulted in 1 person being charged. We continued the proactive policing with our youth, providing some gift cards and free slushies with community justice. They provide us these funds from the Restorative Justice Coordinator, Norm, and with LDFN. And so we use those funds to do a positive ticketing program for the community, which has been really, really well received. So we gave 6 gift cards to youth, free slushies and ice creams for following the rules of the road, using the sidewalk, using the crosswalks and so on. kind of hard to do any helmets, enforcing people wearing helmets this time of year, so we try to enforce it in other ways there, so. So the positive ticketing program has been well received, and we'll continue with that there for the next fiscal year as well, too. For the community involvement, we got some donations there for elders. Jessica Frisky there, she's really well involved with the elders in town. She's was able to provide, get some donations from everywhere in Canada. This organization called Sydney's Northern Project out of Facebook. You mention to them what you want, and they keep sending them. So she's been receiving them gifts through the Canada Post ever since October of last year, and I pick up the mail every week. So they come on a weekly basis. So we redistributed these donations to the elders here in town, and it's really been well received here in all the other communities as well too. JMR, Trout, and Wrigley as well too. So we receive a lot of donations. Canada Post has a lot of business with us there. So on the 16 and 17, we had members participating in the drum making activity with LPFN. They're here participated in the hockey tournament on the 17th to the 19th. And we had some more donations on the 21st of February to the elders as well. On February, I'm sure a lot of questions will arise on this one. So many you know we had quite the Valentine's Day this year. February 14th, we had 2 search warrants executed in town. We had the assistance of the Fort Lee RCMP and the emergency response team. So our tactical team out of Yellowknife came to assist as well too. We had 2 residences that we had executed approved search warrants to execute for a search, and resulted in 6 people being charged with a number of Controlled Drug Substance Act charges and a number of firearm charges, as there was a loaded pistol found in one of the residents there. So altogether, about 6, it's still not confirmed yet. I say suspected because it's not confirmed until we have Health Canada's confirmation. But about 6 grams of fentanyl is what we're looking at, 1.3 kilograms of cocaine, suspected cocaine, over 100 grams of crack as well too. So for those that don't know, powder is boiled into a different substance and becomes a different processed cocaine. So it's called crack. So it's a bit more of a different substance there. Comes in the same derivative with it, but just a different way of using it. I don't know from my knowledge there. So a number of charges, and it's all pending in court. One individual was remanded in custody, and then all the rest were all released by the courts locally there. So it's on conditions there too. So we are aware. I'll make my public announcement. We are aware, as this is a public forum. We are aware that there's still some drug issues. We have some that are on the radar. There's just a matter of time before we get them as well. Encourage people to continue with Crime Stoppers, as it's really helpful. Again, it's a priority of ours to do this, and I'm hoping to continue this priority on our next fiscal year as well too. This is the last month of our current fiscal year, so we're going to have to set some new priorities next year. I believe that substance abuse, based on these results, should be another one of our priorities next year as well too. Again, we can discuss this a bit further afterwards. Results in regards to our occurrences for the month. We had 132 calls for service. We're seeing a bit of a hike there in regards to last year's the numbers. 91 last year. We had in total, we had 132 for this year. So February 2022, we had 91. February 2023, we had 132. So there's a bit of an increase. 16 assaults as opposed to 12. 2 sexual assaults as opposed to none. 1 break and enter as opposed to 2 last year. Other than that, like it's very random, but theft under 5,000, 4 as opposed to 1, so that's not a huge difference. Liquor Act and mischiefs are 2 that it can be scored one way or another. 1 can be a Liquor Act matter, but it can also be a mischief for a person that's not wanted intoxicated to residents. So it's all basically it's 6 1 half as in the other kind of thing. It's the same incident, but we have the same amount of numbers there when you total both of them together. For violations, for 101 violations, again, 132 as opposed to 91 calls for service. Prisoner held, we had 25 prisoners as opposed to 3 this year. Again, I think I mentioned that in our last meeting as well too. There's a lot of contributing factor because I did analysis in the last, well, from 2017 on. 2017, we were on the same number, if not higher than now. And that could be a multitude of factors. Usually putting a prisoner in cells is our last resort. A lot of people think it is their first resort, but it's not, because we have to exhaust all other avenues before putting a prisoner in cell, just because of the liability issue. If you put a prisoner in cell and all of a sudden pass away because they were too intoxicated, well, there's an inquest for it, we're liable for that, right? So if they're too intoxicated to be in their cells, well, they're gonna go to the nursing station, because we don't wanna take that risk, right? So the homeless shelter has been really, really helpful for that as well too. There's a small level of intoxication. If we didn't have that and nobody else wanted to take them in, then we would take them in ourselves. But the homeless shelter has been really helpful to reduce that. But even with that, we still have a heightened number as well too. I think the calls for service in 2020 dropped down significantly as well too with COVID. Again, there's a lot of factors that play into it. So, but our numbers are coming up again too. So, those are my submissions for our February stats. Yeah, we'll take any questions, I guess. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And I know that was a fairly large amount of seized drugs, because you don't see that every day. That would be something more like in a larger place like maybe Yellowknife. But I thought that was quite a large amount to have in Fort Simpson.
It was big for the territories.
Yeah.
And I think it raised some eyebrows at Yellowknife as well too. I've had some conversations with some more important people than I am in Yellowknife. There talks about reorganizing the potential drug strategy as well too for the Northwest Territories.
Yeah.
We know it's there. And just the fact that these are hard to investigate at our level. Hopefully this will wake up some people and restructure some things as well too. But
And I know CBC News took a different take when they reported it. They said that this is unusual and that they were all Northerners that had been caught in the web, and often you're reading that it's, Southern drug dealers come up and are selling, but this was all, it's not local, at least Northern people.
Mhm.
So it's like the distribution is becoming entrenched in our society a little bit. That's a little bit troubling.
Mhm.
Do you make any kind of report to housing authority about that you've been to their houses? And
yeah, well,
is there any official correspondence to say
Yeah.
this is a problem area here?
I've had a conversation with Rhea Letcher, the housing manager, last week about that, because she was asking details of it, and I said I can't really give you details until the court. You can ATIP a file and ask for those details, but they won't come to you until it's in conclusion. That said, talking to Rhea, they can't do nothing at the housing level until there's a conviction. So it's like wrongfully convicting someone without having this due process, right? So.
Right.
So that's more of a, I'll open the communication with housing. That's not an issue on my level. It's the decision to evict someone is completely with housing's directives. And that's what I was told by Rhea, is that nothing can be done until there's a conviction, and rightfully so. They're still innocent until it's been.
Do they still have the law saying that if you get caught with cocaine like this and drug money, and that you could lose other things like your vehicle, your house, if you can't prove how you bought it?
There's proceeds. Yeah.
Proceeds of crime kind of thing, right? And so that's why I think people are running out of the social houses, because they got nothing to lose. What are they gonna lose? It's not their house. I mean, most people don't want a drug dealer in their house, right? And they don't even want to take a chance themselves, maybe because they could lose their house, their car, their whatever. It just seems like, there has to be more oversight on the social housing, and not just let this go, right?
Yep.
I mean, it's a benefit.
I'm not sure what directive that they have at housing if the person is convicted and the victim. Are they allowed to apply for another housing afterwards, or they're blacklisted from that housing? I don't know.
Yeah, I know it creates more problems too, but
Yeah.
somehow maybe if there's more oversight, that they can stop these things
Mhm.
and you give people their warnings and then they're out, right?
Yeah, I did mention to, just for your, I guess, knowledge, I did mention to housing that they need to secure some of the housing, areas that are trending in that way as well too,
Yeah.
with better cameras, better surveillance, security as well too,
Yeah,
to assist us as well too as a community, right? So, especially, and to reassure the people that are living in these houses that are completely not related to these offenses at all.
Yeah.
And I think it's been receptive, it's been pretty receptive, and for the new fiscal year that they're gonna implement those things.
that's a
But-
good idea.
Because like I said, it's also, because I had the meeting with housing as well too, they did request a meeting with me because they do have pressures from some of their tenants, they see these things happening, they're too afraid to come to us and they want them to evict them, but, until we have something that's been proven, it's kind of hard for them to do something too, so. That's why I keep saying, if you're too afraid to come to us, for whatever reason that you have, Crime Stoppers is the way to go so we can start something. Right? And then from there, if there's a conviction in place, then housing can decide what they want to do with that, so.
Yeah, but again, like, great job, you and the whole force.
Thank you.
And, I was just gonna say, like, to your new member there, we didn't really introduce ourselves either, right? She might know some of us. I'm Sean Welly, the mayor. This is the counselor that just came in. She just introduced herself. You introduced yourself.
I'm Troy Belmontini.
Cindy Brown.
Hi, my name's Stephanie Hardesty.
Les Wright.
Liza McPherson.
Can I just ask a couple of questions?
Sure.
Just two questions really quickly. Obviously, like complaints or concerns or comments or tips that come to you guys with the name, are those, are they kind of held to the state's standard as an anonymous Crime Stopper tip? Like, are they viewed the same, or is it better, are you guys better off knowing who the tip is from, who it's
Doesn't
from?
matter.
Doesn't matter,
And,
right?
but even if, let's say, I don't know, maybe Joe Blow calls and says he wants to give a complaint about drugs, the first question that we'll ask, because with that drug history, there's fear of retaliation, or there's potential retaliation for those kind of crimes. We'll ask, do you want to provide this information anonymously, or do you want to give this and testify?
Okay.
Because for me to say Joe Blow gave this information, I need to have his consent that he wants to testify in court. Right?
I'm just asked because I know over the past couple of years, it was, or hearing from people in the community, they were like, you can't say anything to the police unless you know firsthand. And so I think that maybe some people might discredit Crime Stoppers as an outlet to provide these tips. So I'm not saying that that is the general consensus,
Mhm.
but it may be something, and it may be worth the while to just put a message out to the community that the Crime Stopper tips are held just as accountable as
course.
anybody else
Of
would.
course, yeah, we have to, and it's the thing as well too, it goes through a filtration system too, right? So they'll ask, I wish I had my, the link I would do one tip, because basically a tip takes nothing more than 2 minutes. You go on crimestoppers.ca, select the region that you want to do it to, and it asks you a series of questions. So, who else wants this information? Is this first-hand information? How many other people know about this? They'll ask these questions because if you tell me that there's 100 kilos of cocaine at 2023 Main Street, the first question I'll ask is how many people know about this? Because if I do write a warrant for this, to get authorization by a justice to be able to get entry into that place, and the warrant is disclosed in the courts, and which is disclosable to the defense, whose person is going to be charged for, they'll say, well, I only told this person, Stephanie, about this, that I had 1,000 kilos of cocaine in my drawer, in my bedroom, right? So that's the first question I will ask, is how many people know about this? Because if there's any way that it could come back to you for retaliation, we have to ensure your safety as well too. So sometimes people think, well, I told the police about this, they didn't do anything. Well, there's a reason why.
Yeah.
Because we want to make sure that the victim is also safe as well too.
Totally, that
So-
makes sense.
Yeah, so the Crime Stoppers is a great way to do it, and it takes nothing more than 2 minutes. It asks the questions as well. It asks how many people know about this, is there any fear that they can have any retaliation against you? And you go through these steps, it takes nothing more than 2 minutes, and it goes through our auditor in, where I think is in life, and I get the message nothing more than 5 minutes afterwards. So it's fairly quick.
Yeah.
It's fairly
that's
quick, yeah, so, and, yeah, we can use that information, we can use any information to be able to spearhead an investigation, right, so.
Perfect. Thank you for that. My second question is more just like a comment, or I guess just a question. I'm just wondering, a lot of these people were fairly young, like 23, 24, younger adults that were charged at this point in time. And so I know years ago, there used to be programming in the schools, and I get they're, 20, they're out of school, but is there anything happening in the schools for drug prevention at this time? Like, I know in Ontario it was VIP, here it was DARE, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Like, does that still happen? Do any
there
of
is
those
no
things-
longer.
Is there a new program, or
No,
is there
not really.
looking at?
No, and I've approached Ben and Corinne about that at
Yeah.
school and explained that we don't have a full-time school position. I mean, that's not VPD where they have a member in the school at all time, Vancouver Police, all it's Surrey, all place. We don't have the luxury of having that here. That said, there's actually merit carriers or school liaison for all our communities. Send me an email or send us merit carrier email and we can set something up. So it's more of a need basis. And we've had those requests.
So
We've
there is
had-
a program if we request
Oh,
it,
yeah.
if someone can
Yeah,
come in and facilitate it?
Yeah, so that's why I want to talk about this afterwards, that's why I keep mentioning the priorities that we have, so.
Yeah.
I don't think you were here last one.
No, I was away. I'm
So
sorry.
the priorities that we set, basically it's what we can, focus on an enforcement aspect and on the educational aspect. So there's always two components to each initiative that we set for the year. I'm not saying that I'm setting only 3 initiatives and everything else is free crime. That's not what I'm saying.
No.
It's what we put more importance on in regard, and reporting as well too. So ones that I recommended last month were the top 3 that I've used in 4 detachments that I commended, which proves good success. Traffic enforcement, so that could be either road check stops, impaired driving, for the enforcement aspect. For the education aspect, presentations, we can do the positive ticketing program as well to enforce with action, because it's not only good, only bad. The same as well too with the substance as well too. Substances, so anything with Liquor Act, intoxicated people in town. Substance with drugs as well too, the drug initiative we just did, stuff like that, interdiction stuff. And then the education aspect is more presentation piece. So school talks on alcohol, school talks on substance as well too. And I've done some in the past about fentanyl because it's a pretty scary one. So, and then the other one is more community aspect, so reconciliation events, because we do have a duty to repair some wrongs that we've done and before my time. So that's one of the things that I want to set as well, is to do community-based events with youth involvement. I think was it Open Sky that you were at, playing dodgeball and soccer with the kids?
Open light.
Yeah, Open Lights. So all these events.
Lights out, yeah.
Lights out, yeah. So lights out events, attending the school for playing dodgeball or stuff like that. I think that's important because it kind of shapes the future as well too, and the trust towards us as well too.
Definitely.
So I know I talk a lot here.
No, that's
So your question, that's on a need basis, and if we're asked, we'll do it for sure. We have a million presentations ready. We just need to have the request for it. So we don't really have the time to seek out and say, do you want to have something on this? We're always open doors. If you want to have any presentations, by all means, we'll set it up there. So, and Corinne and Ben knows about that too. So
awesome, thank you.
yeah,
That's
no problem.
Okay, any last questions? Okay, well, once again, thanks, John, for coming down.
To just talk about the last topic, so the priorities for the next fiscal year.
Sure.
Was that something that you've discussed in your last?
We didn't have a chance
Okay.
because our last 2 meetings have been canceled.
Okay,
So, but we will do.
sure. Okay, sounds good. All right. Well, thank you.
Yes,
Okay,
thank you.
have a great night.
And welcome.
All right, so.
Take care.
Yeah. have the adoption of some minutes here under 7. A motion moved by Councillor Wright, seconded by Councillor Browning. The council approved the minutes of regular meeting RM03-2023 of February 6, 2023, as presented, unless anyone has any.
There's some typos.
Okay,
Under 5, Counselor absences, moved by Counselor Wright, second by Counselor, it should be Hardesty Gillis.
okay,
That council excused Counselors Hardesty.
yeah, regular, excusing yourself.
No,
Yeah,
because
Two Hardesties, one Hardesty Gillis. Yeah. And any other amendments? Okay, well, then with that, taking note of that one change, is everyone all right to approve the minutes as amended with that one change? All show of hands, all those in favor? Okay, 5 in favor, none against. Motion's carried. Okay, mayor's report, I don't have any this evening. SAO report, did you have anything?
Not tonight.
Okay. Variance report, we can probably get you to look at that for us a little bit, consolidated operations, and I guess it's a quick update on spending in the first part of the year up until the end of February. Anything you want to highlight in there? Is there any-
Nothing out of the ordinary. About the revenue items that haven't been recognized yet.
Yeah, it looks like we're losing money, but just some revenues don't come in and maybe haven't.
A lot will come in the new government fiscal year.
Right.
There's one note, I'm trying to remember what it was. If anyone has any questions, by all means.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
That water usage fee, that 41,000, is that what we get for water here every month?
That's that's what we got from January through to February.
So that's what we charge the community, not what we get from the government.
That would be all of the water fees, all of the water usage.
So that 1.7 million is, I don't think that 1.7 million we get is included in that, only adds up to 590 at the end for the budget.
You know, this is purely fees that we get from invoicing customers.
Invoicing customers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yes.
Under professional fees, expenses, 52,000 code, professional fees, there you have 103, January to February. Is that January 22 or 23?
That's January 23, so that's just for 2 months. So that would be,
And then we have the budget at 21,333, so I'm just. That's all departments, right?
correct, Jim.
Who's that? Right here for facilities.
How come this only has this year's numbers, right? There's no January 22 or,
It's just-
right, it just copies.
Yeah, it's pretty much just these 2 months, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, like, right here, sheets January 23 and January 23.
Yeah.
Aren't we supposed to be looking at last year's numbers there or something?
This is
Something to
just the
compare
fiscal
to?
variance.
Yeah, it's nice to have the previous year, I
Yeah,
think.
how's the new system working? Still
It's,
working out some kinks?
it's definitely still working through some kinks. It's been, challenging in some ways, just transitioning, like we've been having a little trouble getting the utility bills all changed over. We're almost there. As far as financial reporting goes, it's 100 million times easier. The difference is unbelievable. Yeah, so just getting all the information transferred over and utility billing and property taxes. It's been a little bit challenging, but we're almost there. But for reporting, it's like very easy to generate whatever kind of reports council would like to see. So whatever you'd like to see in your monthly variance reports, if we get some kind of consensus, there's no point having too much information. We want to make it easy for council to glance through and see any differences. But whatever you'd like to see, it would be very easy for us to set up those reports.
I have a question. I don't know if it's on here. I see our fire department is driving a brand new vehicle. So was that like a purchase from?
The red truck, we got that last year. Oh, about a year old now.
See it now.
Councilor Wright?
We still haven't put any stickers on there that say it's a
There
fire
is
truck.
that.
Oh, there is?
There is now.
That's why I asked it.
Yeah, that's why I asked.
It's probably, yeah, that's what I with me.
Yes, Councilor.
Is Gerald White still here with us?
Darrell left town Saturday.
Oh, he did it.
Yeah, and Ben is just delayed his arrival due to medical reasons. He'll be here April 1st. Okay.
What's
Oh,
in,
sorry.
that's okay.
Oh, sorry.
What's included in those professional fees?
Uh,
If we're only budgeted 21,000, we spend 103 of our 128 annually. Is it just a forward kind of paid something?
I'll have to pull it up because I can't remember. I was all prepared for our last meeting that was canceled.
We're just keeping you on your toes there, Kevin.
Yeah, just give us an answer later for that.
Sure.
It does look like we used up our budget.
Would that be part of your new system?
That's probably the QuickBooks changeover. Yeah, that's probably what it is. I'll be able to tell you for sure.
And then you have, then you have payroll expenses in the bottom, 354. So there's something,
That's actual payroll.
okay, that's actual payroll and professional fees or something else.
Professional fees, and I'm thinking that's the fees for doing the software conversion.
So,
But I can let you guys know for sure.
Did Magda help us with that, or we just did that all ourselves?
We did that ourselves, gas tax.
Oh, gas tax, yeah.
So that would be gas tax that would be transferred to our operations.
Right, so in a way, it's not eating into,
It's not
really our operating money.
No.
Okay. Councilor Wright?
How many employees do we have?
25 full-time. I'm thinking,
25 full-time?
and we got 2 casual staff, Gregson, 3 casual staff, 4.
So is that the actual, like 354,000, that would be paid monthly to,
Or 2 months?
2 months.
oh, is that 2 months?
Yeah, January, February.
Oh, because, oh, the budget's 502. Okay, thanks.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I take Councilor Wright's suggestion as a good one there, that if, when we do something like this, if there could be a comparative type of number there, at least so that they could see what had happened the year before, if that's possible, I guess, if the numbers coincide or whatever.
Absolutely.
Just gives a little bit more depth to the numbers. Okay, well, that was information, and if everybody's good with that for now. Okay. Table items and old business, we don't have any. Committee minutes and recommendations, there aren't any tonight either. New business, none. Bylaws, we do have one. So, yes,
If I may, your worship, the professional fees, there was, that extra funds left over from our tax sale last year after, after outstanding taxes were paid and after professional fees were paid. Everything else extra has to go to, Canada Revenue. And so that's been sitting in our account, paying interest since the tax sale. And we just paid it to our lawyers, and that was $92,000.
okay, so it was never our money.
That makes up the most of it. It's recorded as professional fees because it's paid to our lawyers.
Right, okay, yeah. So it wasn't like really our money ever. We were holding money.
The interest rate's quite high, yeah, so it's.
We might make some interest on it. Okay. Yeah, because, when we have a tax sale, we can only keep the money for the taxes that's owing. If somebody bids higher, we collect, we have to send it along to the courts after a period of time. And they decide who to give it to. Maybe the owners will apply to the court to get it, or other people have liens.
We also got our, the fees for holding the tax sale covered.
Okay.
What is the mortgage fees.
That comes over that, that's good. Okay, so yeah, we're on to the zoning bylaw amendment, which is to rezone 2 parcels. Now,
There's no information.
no information, is this like advance notice, or is this just something that's gonna maybe just give us some info on that?
So, we made a request to rezone, it's actually one lot, but it's in 2 parcels behind the post office building. They have plans to build a 6-plex. And so they've requested that we rezone those lots to multi-unit residential. They've asked us to move quickly on it if we can, because they're applying to CMHC for funding with a March 15th deadline. In saying that, granting the rezoning doesn't approve any development. It's still have to go through the development permit process to apply for whatever, and then there'll be a chance for anyone to reject. We don't see a problem with rezoning to multi-unit residential. There's no direct residential neighbors in that lot. There's a post office on one side, but there's town on the other side. We don't see it having any major impact on any neighbors or residents. So our recommendation is to go ahead with the rezoning.
Okay, because we did get information sent by email to everybody, although it's not in this package. Came late because I guess it came after Friday.
Yeah, originally I hadn't intended to be in this meeting, but they asked us to push it along, so I got that.
And what is the process normally to rezone? Is it that it gets posted and then we get community feedback? Because I know Council McPherson did express one area of concern that could potentially come up. So, but is this how we do it? We would, if we're not, or do we just put it out there to the public for feedback and then have a special meeting on the?
There's no requirement to post it publicly. It's up to council how they want to proceed. It's a bylaw amendment, so it needs 3 readings. So we do 2 readings at one meeting and 1 meeting at another. Normally we would talk to all the neighbors to make sure there's no objections.
I thought like way back, and I'm just going off of memory, my memory is terrible, but I thought when we went, like before, when we went try to rezone a property, it had to go through 2 readings and then a public hearing, and then it could have its 3rd reading. Was that not? I tried to find it today in the zoning bylaw and I couldn't find it. So that's why I'm purely going by memory, but there was something.
Isn't that for like a development permit?
No, a development permit just gets posted for 2 weeks. I thought it could be subdividing. It could be actually. But there was one process in that zoning bylaw that did require a public hearing.
Yeah.
And I do think that if they're, like, I understand they're like looking to get this done in advance, but I think if there are some concerns, then we need to be able just to say that we at least, welcomed comments on whatever the concerns may be.
Yeah.
Even if it's like posting it or what, like not necessarily a public hearing, I'm not sure.
Yeah, Counselor Wright?
What does the bylaw say?
Yeah, I can't see anybody objecting to it, but I would put it, like, post it at least, right? Do pass or 2 readings or vote on the readings tonight, and then put it out. And then next meeting or 2 meetings from now, whichever, vote on it then on the 3rd, with the 3rd.
Yeah, and I guess because it's a zoning bylaw, it's a bylaw change. Normally you do post a change to bylaws, because that's why you're doing a first and second reading and you're giving a period of time. And, yeah, that should be made public.
Right, yes.
It should,
The
or is
community
it
should
part
have,
of the bylaw?
I don't know if it's,
the community should have some say
yeah,
or
An
some,
opportunity.
yeah, an opportunity to.
a lot of times maybe we wouldn't necessarily advertise that there's a change to a bylaw if it was kind of a procedural bylaw, our own bylaws, how we run ourselves here, we probably wouldn't ask for public input, but this one's a little bit different. Could have impacts on neighbors or what have you, so I guess we should probably try to do it in a timely manner, but at least give public chance to say something if they have something to say. That sounds like a reasonable approach, right? I mean, it's a good idea. Sixplex.
Oh, yeah.
Or if this is something that is seriously being looked at, I don't want to hold it up. So should we then do a first and second reading for this? Because I don't really have anything here.
Should be a first and second reading there.
I think we can do the first and second reading tonight and then post it and then do the 3rd reading. Kevin had tentatively did it the 20th. So we're not delaying the process,
Yeah.
but just using the time
Oh,
to
that one, no.
let the village have
I
a
could
say.
do a blank one.
Let's go down. The printer's all around.
Oh, this. Oh, there we go. Thank you very much. Okay. So would somebody like to move and second the motion that bylaw to amend the zoning bylaw be read first time? Anyone want to move? Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody want to second? I'll go Councilor Brown. Liza's just coming back in a second, or?
Next, went to grab some water.
Okay, let's give her 2 seconds there and we'll.
You see how Beaver? No, Beaver Tail.
Okay, so I've got a motion moved by Councilor Hardesty, seconded by Councilor Brown, that bylaw 2023-001, a bylaw to amend the zoning bylaw, be read a first time. Should I have in here exactly what it is? You'll rezone 2 parcels. We kind of know what we're referring to, right?
It's just being consistent with how we've done them in the past.
Okay, well, we know what we're doing here. So, any discussion on the first reading? Okay, all those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in favor and none against. Motion's carried. And could I ask for a mover on the second reading? Okay, Councilor Wright, and I'll go with Councilor Bellefontaine. The seconder. The bylaw 2023-001, a bylaw to amend the zoning bylaw, be read a second time. Any discussion? All those in favor? Again, 5 in favor, none against. Motion carried. So yeah, that would be the request of council that a notification go out.
Right away.
That, yeah,
So that we can finish.
we'll post on bulletin boards, put on the website, whatever, and then if there is any feedback, at least we'll have known about it before the next regular meeting when we do the third reading.
Just make sure to put a deadline date, like let them, like before March 20th or
Yeah, that they
5
have,
o'clock March 20th.
they have to get some kind of comment back if we have to, you know, if we're gonna consider it, yeah. All right, item 13, correspondence and information. Well, we had our sergeant go over the policing report with us. Then there's information on the arena commemorative sign, and I saw some nice pictures. Yes?
Just going back to the February policing report, do you want to talk about the priorities now?
Oh, yeah.
We could,
Please look at tag it at this,
yeah, get it done.
yeah. Question number 1 is still the comes.
Yeah, that's a big one.
I think that
This
is-
should be at the top of the list.
I think the 3 priorities that they listed were pretty good. Is there something in addition to that? That we're thinking of?
Drugs and substance abuse, eh?
Substances, I think he called it, because then it involved liquor or drugs.
Yeah,
Okay,
could
it
be
says,
any of those
community
things, but
policing, crime prevention.
crime prevention,
Yeah, and safety and wellness of community.
I like those.
Yeah.
Safety
Those are
and
the ones-
wellness,
Yeah,
being
those are the ones
proactive.
that are always,
Already there, so.
The ones, the 3 he highlighted from RM03, drug enforcement, substance abuse, traffic enforcement, and youth community involvement.
those are good.
Yeah, I mean, I like the contributing to the safety and wellness of the community and doing crime prevention. Because that probably means getting out and promoting themselves as they did tonight, you know, by introducing themselves and meeting people in different places. Rather than at the scene of the crime, you want to get out and get your messages out. So that's, I think, really good in the community. Traffic enforcement doesn't, I've never seen really the RCMP needing to do a lot of that. We do have our own bylaw. Maybe there's occasional times we get things like too many kids on skidoos or quads and running around, and usually the parents can get that under control, but it's not that the police don't do it, but I just don't see it as like a high, to even mention it as the same class as the drugs and stuff in the community.
That being said, he included in that as like check stops and
Yeah.
impaired driving, like that's part of the traffic control,
Right.
not part
Well,
of the
that's
substances.
part, yeah, like,
We do need that still.
yeah,
No, but I think that falls under your safety and well-being.
Yeah, good.
yeah, because they're kind of well advertised almost, you know, you get a upcoming weekend, you know they're gonna be doing check stops, right? Sometimes they even put it in the paper or somehow get the word out, we're gonna be doing a check stop. And so now, with that, how can we summarize what we've got? Drugs and substance abuse is one,
Haven't summarized it.
you had her?
This is from the 3 that were summarized at our last meeting where John Comey was done.
Yeah.
The summary from that meeting was drug enforcement / substance abuse.
Everyone agree with that?
Awareness, substance abuse awareness, maybe? Drug enforcement / substance abuse awareness.
I think, yeah, I think,
What was that?
Yeah,
number 2 is traffic enforcement. And number 3 is youth / community involvement.
yeah. Just, I'd like that traffic enforcement to mean like check stops. I don't really want them out like stopping people for speeding. I mean, and seatbelts, like, it could be,
Yeah.
you know, you don't, it gets to be a little bit much, but I think they have too many other important things to do. Not that they probably, you know, if they saw it in front of them, they'd probably stop someone, but I think we don't wanna rise that up to some kind of, oh, we got this huge problem with traffic or something, but, yeah, what they're doing is great, so,
I like the first two that they have here, the community priorities, plus the drug enforcement and substance abuse awareness.
yeah, add that one.
So
for sure.
community policing by crime prevention and contribute to the safety and wellness of the community / community involvement, and the third one could be drug.
Drugs and substances abuse and awareness.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe rise that drug one to the top. Well, anywhere in there is good, as long as it's on the list. Okay,
We, pass resolution for the three priorities.
I guess that's what they need, right? Okay. Did you wanna scribble those out? You got it right in front of you there.
As I read them, or did you want to read,
As you read them.
or you guys want to change?
No.
Yeah, you sound great.
Is this wall a different color or is this the lighting? You see that line?
Shadow, because the lights are on the rays.
That's okay.
Could be like drugs and substance abuse enforcement and education. Because in some ways, they need to go around and explain to people what.
Don't
they're
change it
finding.
again, leave it.
Yeah, I think,
Abuse and awareness.
yeah, awareness, yeah, that's education. Yeah. Well, thanks for mentioning that, Liza. Put that off.
Feel free to go over it, changes.
Okay, so who wants to move this? You heard him say it, so who wants to move a motion to adopt these three priorities? Okay, by Councilor Wright. Councilor Bellefontaine. Motion moved that council adopt the following policing priorities for 2023. Number one, drug enforcement / substance abuse.
Awareness.
And awareness.
Awareness, okay. Traffic enforcement, number 2. Number 3, youth and community involvement. We somehow lost,
Take the traffic enforcement out.
let's slap in,
Safety and
community
wellness.
policing.
No.
Or the number 2, contribute to the safety and wellness of the community.
Yeah.
Okay,
/ community involvement.
now I think this one, number 2 is youth / community involvement. So maybe the third one could be contribute to safety and wellness of the community. How about that? Okay, so there you got your 3. Drug enforcement / substance abuse awareness. Number 2, youth / community involvement. 3, contribute to the safety and wellness of the community. Okay, all those in favor? All right, 5 in favor, none against, motion's carried. Okay, yeah, what I was saying, Counselor, McPherson, did you have something to do with this one?
Which one?
The arena commemorative sign, or Counselor
Oh,
Hardesty?
he was just in touch with me about it.
Yeah,
He brought it in and presented it to the winners. I guess.
Yeah. I saw some photos of the chief and Owen,
Yeah.
sort of with the, yeah,
Isn't that
the
best?
sign is here now, right? Yeah,
I just found an email that Kevin had shared with us from Chris Hewitt.
And they did the sign this weekend, I think.
yeah.
I didn't realize Tom was the one that bought the
Skate machines,
Sure,
yeah.
she-
It's funny, hey, after someone
Yeah.
passes away, you finally find out some of these things
Yeah,
that
I
they can
didn't
do
realize it.
sort of quietly. Yeah, that's very nice, very nice of them. Then we have 13C, land use permit renewal, Department of Infrastructure, Highway 1 from kilometer 200 to 800. Part of the process, I guess, the Mackenzie Land and Water Board license permit. Is that from the border to here or north of here?
280 to 800, which would be north of here.
North of here. Yeah.
It's the same, I think it's the same permit, just getting a renewal. It says that nothing's changing in terms of what they're doing.
Yeah, just almost like a technicality, but do we have any concerns with that? Or it's not getting built quick enough?
Can you have it graded?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
right.
neighborhood.
Yeah,
Well, you're at it.
so, if no concerns, I guess there's nothing that we need to do there. Timber cutting permit, we do have one of those applications. And again, it's, we're the closest community, but I think it's outside our municipal boundaries. Yeah, well, not really, eh? It is within our municipal boundaries. Because it's on the way to the airport, so, okay. It's an area of some dry standing wood that needs to be partially taken out. And does anybody have any concerns? Okay,
Everybody has some hope.
I think they get the people to cut a little bit further back from the road and it's, they're cutting dry wood mostly, so it's not creating an eyesore or anything. I do see people harvesting in that area out past the 4 mile or 3.5 mile area there. Okay, so if no concerns, then we'll leave that one. Council matters and concerns, maybe I'll just go this way. Councilor Bunting, do you have any council matters or concerns that you want to bring up?
Not really this time.
Okay, Councilor Brown?
Just what's our role this weekend and how are we cooking Saturday morning or
How are you?
what are our instructions, Sean?
You have to tell us what to do.
No, not me.
Yeah, the big thing is to get some of the food pre-cooked, I know that. Tend to be up pretty early to get a head start on things, so that when, is it 8 o'clock that, or? Yeah,
That's what I read.
Yeah.
Can we move that?
Cooking sort of has to be in full gear at 7 o'clock, like cooking's gotta start to be ahead. We just keep cooking for about 3 hours, right?
You just don't stop.
Yeah, and,
Is there any way you can get somebody to do the bacon and the sausages for us?
yeah, maybe
Did we
we
do that last year?
like, there are people in town that maybe we could hire to do that for us, that.
Shit, aren't we supposed to do that?
I mean, I don't know who's got the proper cooking places, but,
What do we have to make? Like, what is it? Pancake, sausage, bacon.
Scrambled eggs. Last year you guys did good, had fruit and everything there, it was good spread.
Did you do it?
Do we
I
do
was
any oranges
So
and?
who did it? How did it work last year?
I never did any of the pre-cooking, I just showed it in the morning.
okay, S.A. Corrigan, you had something on that?
Just so everyone understands, we got bacon, sausages, eggs, pancakes, oranges, apples, juice, coffee, tea.
Yogurt?
What's that?
Yogurt?
No yogurt. We could get yogurt if you want.
Oh, I.
It probably doesn't hurt, some people have a little healthier breakfast. We got some little fruit things for people to put with their food too.
I can put my name beside pancakes for 3 hours.
Yeah, like, I'll definitely be there at 7 o'clock to help do whatever, like, whatever it needs doing, but I don't know about the pre-cooking, that's the problem, I'm thinking,
Yeah,
how do we do that?
I don't want to do scrambled eggs,
Like how many packages of bacon and sausages are we talking here?
probably a case of each.
Well, how many packs is that? I speak in pounds.
Yeah,
Like 1 pound, 1 pack.
Last year it was divided up too, because I did some baking.
Yeah, I could do
I
some.
remember I was given packages, and I felt like a lot, but other people also made a lot, so it's.
Maybe we should all take a couple, either pancake or sausages or bacon, and everyone do a couple. the night
Oh, can
before.
we delegate to some of the staff?
to cook some
I was wondering,
at
Yeah,
the arena.
yeah, because they've got the equipment there, if somebody could cook it there.
There, and
Like,
the rest
it's
of
already there, because last
them.
time.
You got nothing to do all day Friday.
Yeah, it's just getting some of this stuff pre-cooked, right?
Can I ask, I can try to find some staff to help, but if I could have one counselor volunteer to take a lead, to sort of just direct and make sure everything's getting done. Last year was Rosemary. She was there the day before to make sure everything was taken care of and everyone got the food that they wanted to take home.
Well, when is all of the, like, are all the groceries already purchased?
Yeah, well, most of the main ingredients we bought in bulk.
Are they here at the
and They
office?
should be arriving tomorrow.
So is there, like, I can come by on Friday morning and like, kind of, if someone else is able to, and kind of take a look at it and see if we can, how we can kind of divvy it up, and then maybe Kevin, like, you can send an email and be like, each counselor is responsible for this, stop by the village office and grab it on Friday at some point in time, once we see what we're looking at. I don't know.
I'm doing the feast Thursday night, so I'm sort of like,
Yeah.
come and scramble eggs, that's all I'm gonna do. It's,
Well, everyone's gonna have to do something.
I'm gonna scramble eggs.
I'll come at 7 and cook. I can even cook bacon.
Yeah,
The
I
day
can do
before.
that before
Like
too.
like you said, last year, we went to some people went to the hall and cooked their bacon and stuff, right?
Some people cooked the day
Like just
before,
on that
some
big
people-
cooktop?
Yeah, some people took some home and cooked, whatever. they wanted to do.
And the serving trays, I mean, I think we get them from, do we have them or do we get them from somewhere?
Usually buy them from the market.
Okay, those trays,
So
yeah.
this year,
Yeah, we're gonna, we bought a bunch of food tray warmers with the lights and everything, so we're gonna try them on Thursday at the feast, and then if they work well, we'll use them on Saturday.
Okay.
Because we're trying to cut down on waste.
Yeah.
Just, you know, all those tins and then,
Yeah.
just.
And we got coffee, tea.
Well, I can come by on Friday and grab a bunch of bacon and sausages, and I can do some pre-cooking, and then I can cook on Saturday, whatever's left. I think everyone's gonna have to step up a little bit on
It's almost
Friday
good
night.
to get there, like, say 6:30, you know, try to get there before
Was
7.
there staff there at that time?
This is it, right?
and
How
so
do you-
to open up is whatever time you want to do.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the biggest thing is just getting the sausages and bacon cooked.
Yeah, at least if
Yeah,
that is done.
Yeah, if that's done, everything else, you just throw them in the oven and keep them warm.
So when you pre-cook it, do you cook it or you do like
Oh, you do?
75%?
Cook it right to it, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Just warm it up, yeah.
Just so you can warm it up.
I'll cook bacon. Just give me a bunch of bacon and I cook bacon.
Okay, well then, I'll come here on Friday, I'll grab the bacon and the sausage, and I'm gonna find you guys.
We'll-
On Friday.
I'll have everything put in the fridge in the rec center, so if you
Okay.
want to go to the rec center,
I'll go to the rest of
Yeah,
it.
we could just go to the rec center and cook there
in the
Friday afternoon.
I
AM,
still have to work, but.
AM or
Yeah.
PM.
Oh, yeah, it is happening.
Because most staff will be finished at noon, so.
Yeah, and. Yeah, let's do
Okay,
that.
okay.
We'll figure something out. Okay. We'll handle
And
this.
everybody shows up at 7.
You know, like, you have to have
They'll
them
be here taking
open
on
at
Friday, Thursday.
at 7. They have to be there, not like quarter after 7. They have
No,
to be there
yeah.
right at
You
7.
can open at 6 if you want.
Hopefully, let's not get.
Well, we'll assume that we have all our.
You guys get the coffee, and I'll be there at 7.
We're in the dailies.
It's probably too early, but 7, we really have to be there by 7, yeah. Everybody should
The
be.
door's at 6:45.
And the coffee pots and everything will be there?
Well, I'll have staff take care of it, make
Okay.
sure everything's ready.
Thank you.
Okay.
bake, and then we can show up and cook. And I cook bacon Friday night at home. I got a
Me too.
kick-ass huge bacon pan.
I am
Wrap
probably
a
gonna eat a
whole
couple
oven.
pieces.
Okay,
Alright, perfect. See you
I
Friday
don't know if I
morning.
had any other counselor concerns. No, I just wanted to know what we were doing.
okay, thank you. And, Councillor Hardesty, any concerns?
No, I don't have any concerns. I will make one comment. I know February was the languages month, and maybe in collaboration with the band, you know how in every other community or a lot of other communities, they have the traditional language on stop signs and stuff. I don't know if it's like a pipe dream, but I think it would be really cool to look into something like that for our community, especially since there's such a push for NHIT with the immersion and the courses.
There's been a few people that suggested we do that, and if it's possible to get decals, so that we can stick them over the current stuff.
Just right under
we
it.
have,
Yeah.
then
Oh, yeah,
it's definitely doable.
for
It's
fun.
quite expensive to change out every single stop sign, but for decals, it would be doable.
That's a good way to approach it, yeah. Okay, is that all?
Yeah, that's all I had.
Okay, Councillor Wright?
Okay. Since we don't have a sewer pump out contract, I'm not really sure.
Did you want to
That's
just
an
leave that for
in-camera.
the in-camera stuff?
Yeah, but I don't think it's an in-camera thing,
Okay, I
right?
see what you're saying.
I'll just, maybe I'll mention a word about it before we go in camera, and then council can decide if they want to go in camera or not,
Okay.
once we're finished with the council concerns.
Other than that, no council concerns.
Okay,
I don't have any.
all right. So what did you want to bring up about that?
So it's, it's come up time and time again, the issue of sewer pump outs and what we should or shouldn't be providing residents and the idea of a sewer pump out. I wanted to put some numbers and some more details that would be specifically related to what would be in a contract. So if it's potentially contractual, then it should be in camera. And if we're mentioning one or even two specific contractors, it shouldn't be public, it should be in camera. So what I'd like to do is just talk about the cost of the current rebate, what it would look like if we did contract it out, and compared to moving forward with the rebate we have, and maybe adjusting that if necessary. If we could talk about some figures that may be in an actual contract, a potential contract in camera, and then we can come out in camera and have more discussion with council.
So are you going to bring those numbers up today?
I don't know yet.
Okay, well, maybe then we'll go in camera for a short bit while he gives you that information, and then we'll come out and continue the discussion if you like. Okay? So I've got a motion moved by Councilor Wright, seconded by Councilor McPherson. The count, no, so it's the other way around. Moved by Councilor McPherson, seconded by Councilor Wright. The council go in camera at 8:13 p.m. Well, we've got to do a roll call thing. Oh, there it is. Councilor Bellefontaine, are you in favor?
Yes.
Councilor Wright,
In favor of,
going in camera?
no.
No, okay. Councilor McPherson,
Yes.
okay. Councilor Browning?
Yes.
And Councilor Hardesty?
Yes.
Okay. One, so. So we'll do this and then